What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is AkeemHaynes. I'm a two-time Olympian, Olympic bronze medalist, author, motivational speaker, and sports commentator. On my channel, we talk boxing, MMA, track and field, and of course, motivation and encouraging content. If this is something that you enjoy, then I hope that you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into the video. Hector Flores versus Sivenathi Nontshinga. This is the co-main event on the Estrada and Cortez card in Mexico. This is going to be a very good fight, a close fight, but let's get into it. Let's talk about Flores. He's coming into this fight with a record of 20-0-4. 4 of those draws came early in his career, 10 wins coming by the way of knockout. One thing about Flores is he's coming to fight every single fight. He's made his opponents work. Once he finds his groove, he's a consistent pace all night. And what I like about Flores is he goes to the body. Right nowadays, we see a lot of fighters headhunting quite a bit, but man, he goes and he targets the body, whether it's a jab from the body or a left hook or a right hook. He does not neglect the body punches. And sometimes he'll mix up his attack and his combinations. Like, for example, he will hit the body with the left hand right hook, and then he will make you cover up. And that's when he'll slip in an uppercut and catch you when you are covering up. It's a slick move, but it works in most of his fights, and he tries it often in a bunch of his fights. He's relentless. He just keeps coming, and he sticks to you. If you let him close the gap, he's not going anywhere. He's going to keep coming, and he's going to keep throwing. When he fought Jai Harris, he chopped him down every round with pressure and body shots until the 6th round came, and he dropped him twice with body shots, and he closed out the show and won that fight. That was a pretty big win for him because he was taking on someone who was higher ranked than him, and he was also fighting someone in their home country where the crowd was on their side. So it shows that doesn't matter where he is, doesn't matter where the fight is, that he's not intimidated by the fans, he's not intimidated by the crowd, not the atmosphere, and he's definitely not intimidated by who is in front of him. After his Jai Harris fight, his most recent fight, he won a split decision against Jose Armenta, which he didn't look impressive to me in that fight. I thought maybe the excitement of the Jai Harris fight didn't really translate over to this fight, and maybe he fought down because Armenta was coming in with a 13-8 record. So I'm thinking maybe it was a little bit of that. That wasn't the Flores that we saw that beat Jai Harris, but this is a title fight. I think he's going to get up for this one because, you know, you don't really get too many of these opportunities, and he's going to need to get up for it if he's going to fight and win against a hungry fighter like Nontshinga. But let's talk about Nontshinga, right? He's coming into this fight with a 10-0 record, 9 wins coming by way of knockout. However, most of his fights have been in South Africa. This is his first fight away from South Africa. And that is something to keep in mind with the time change and the travel and the air and just all of the adjustments that it takes to be able to get your body into the right state, to be able to step inside the ring and feel comfortable inside of that ring. But he's confident. He believes the IBF light flyweight title is going to be his. I watched a bunch of his interviews of him, and he's talking all of the good talk that you want to hear a fighter talk inside the ring. Offensively, I gotta say, I really like his footwork. It's very fluid and he's quick. Whether he's moving on the offense or stepping back or stepping aside his opponent, he does a good job of knowing where he is inside that ring. He's got a good jab and throws a lot of it. A couple of his fights, his first 13 punches were straight jabs, and he throws that left hand often as well too. But his jab, it's quick, it's sharp, it's snappy. He has 9 knockouts. His right hand is something that you have to watch out for. He's got power. His last 2 fights were definitely 2 of his toughest fights, which is good because that's what you want as you continue to progress in your career going into a championship fight. And in his last 2 fights, oh, he was definitely tested in both. In his fight against Ivan Soriano, Nontshinga got touched up early in the rounds. He was a little too comfortable to me in that fight, put his hands down a little lower than I would like it to, and got hit clean with a few shots that swelled up his eye. But I felt like it made him lock in and focus a lot more because he was under the pressure. In that same fight, Serrano pressured him in the corner in the 4th round and caught him again. But Nontshinga was smart enough to cover up, regroup himself, and buy time for him to recover. But Nontshinga didn't panic. He stayed to his game plan. He kept coming, kept throwing until he landed that right hand shot that closed out the show in the 5th round, which he set up prior rounds before. He's got the eraser in that right hand to cover up some of his defensive mistakes that he makes. In his recent fight against Christian Araneta, he had to show us something different. Araneta is a very good fighter, very good record, and he made Nontshinga use more than just his punching power to beat him. I don't think Nontshinga performed very well in that fight. Maybe it was the 8-9 month layoff. He wasn't the aggressor in that fight. He looked like he focused more on being the counter puncher in that fight because he did stay patient and he fought more from the outside and moved around the ring and hid behind the jab a lot more than I would usually see in previous fights before. He was on his back foot often in that fight, and he got dropped the 12th round. He still won the fight by unanimous decision. I thought it was a split decision to me, but that wasn't the Nontshinga that we were accustomed to. And this is a longer layoff than he did the previous fight, so that's something to keep into mind. We have to consider ring rust being a thing in this fight. Or it may not, right? But based on the history of what I've seen from him so far, it takes him a little bit to get back into his form and in his groove. But in this fight, I'm leaning towards Nontshinga. While I don't think he handles pressure well, fighting off the back foot is something that he's still learning to deal with. And Flores is going to come in and apply that pressure and try to get him fighting off of that back foot. I just think Nontshinga is the bigger puncher than Flores. I think he's a better counter puncher than Flores. And I think his footwork is a little better than Flores as well, too. And I think that's going to play a toll in this fight. They both defensively have holes and they are there to get hit. Nontshinga has to stay moving in this one because if he gets caught to the body with too many shots, I think he's going down. But I think he'll use his speed and his footwork and his reflexes to neutralize some of the flurries and the rushes and the pressure that Flores is going to put together. I have Nontshinga winning this fight by decision. I think this one goes the distance, but a very good underrated co-main event. I think it's going to set the tone for that Estrada and Cortez fight. But what are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this fight? Let me know in the comment section below. It's going to be a close fight, I think, but let me know your thoughts. How do you have it going in the comment section below? If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well, and my social handles. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video of this song, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.